Do you know? Fundamental means the basic. Without the algorithm, you cannot perform any task. Like while making some food, you have to follow some step-by-step procedure. So without those steps, you cannot perform an action. So this is known as the fundamental. Fundamental means the basic. Algorithms are the basic to the computer programming. Why fundamental? Because it helps in structuring the logic. Just now someone said about programs. So while writing any program, we have to set some logic. There should be some logic. Okay. So for structuring the logic, algorithms are required. Now some key characteristics. These are finiteness. Like algorithms should have some finite number of steps. Okay, not infinite. It should be some finite number of steps. Definiteness means each step must be clearly and ambiguously defined. So while writing algorithms, the writings should not be haphazard. We should not write haphazardly. We have to follow some steps, and each step must be explained clearly. Input. Algorithm can have zero or more inputs. Like in case of programming, we have to take user input, right? We have to input something. Like if we want to add two numbers, we have to input two numbers first. So algorithm can have zero or more inputs. It's not necessary to always to give input. So there is written that an algorithm can have zero, can also have zero number of inputs or more number of inputs. Output means the desired results which we are getting after performing an action must produce at least one output. Effectiveness. Effectiveness means what I said just now, that each step must be very clearly explained and must be basic enough to be performed easily and accurately. Must be clearly mentioned, each step. So now one of you just unmute yourself and say uh, how to add two numbers. Explain an algorithm of adding two numbers, summation of two numbers. Shubhasri, how will you add two numbers? If I ask you, she will say that I'll take two numbers and I'll add both of them with the plus operator, and then I'll get the result, right?
Yes, yes.
Shubhasri, can you hear me? Acha. So what will be the first step? First step will be we have to start. We have to start writing. স্কুলে শিখেছো তো ফার্স্ট স্টার্ট লিখতে হবে. After writing start, what will you write? Say,
Yes, we'll take two numbers and put them as A and
we'll
B.
take the input of two numbers. Okay. আচ্ছা আমরা কি আগে দুটো নাম্বার নেবো নাকি দুটো নাম্বারের ভেরিয়েবল নেব?
দুটো নাম্বারে ভ্যারিয়েবল
ভেরিয়েবল নেব তো হোয়াট ইজ ভেরিয়েবল?
লাইক এ এন্ড বি
এ এন্ড বি। ওকে, আমি তো ছোটবেলা থেকে পড়ে আসছি এ আর বি হচ্ছে অ্যালফাবেট, এ থেকে জেড অব্দি 26টা অ্যালফাবেট, তো হাউ ক্যান এ এন্ড বি বিকাম ভেরিয়েবল? হু সেড এ এন্ড বি আর ভেরিয়েবলস? You will say your school teacher has said A and B are variables, but why they are variables? In my childhood, I have learned A and B are alphabets. You can imagine variable as a container. Suppose you have bought a packet of biscuit. After opening the packet, will you keep those biscuit in your hands or you will put it in somewhere? Obviously, you will put it in a container. So the container you can imagine as a variable. So why we have to take variable? We have to consider variable because the numbers which we are taking for input will be stored inside the variable, will be assigned inside the variable. Just like the biscuits should be kept in the container, inside a container. Otherwise, we cannot eat that, right? We have to keep it inside a container. So the container is a variable and the biscuits are the values, are the inputs. So here A and B will be the variables and we will take two values as our input because we have to add two numbers. We have to find the summation of two numbers. So inside those two variables respectively will assign two values. এই অবধি বুঝেছো? এই অবধি any doubt?
No, yes, no doubt.
শুভশ্রী any doubt? চ্যাট বক্সে লিখবে না, এখানে একটা মাইক্রোফোন দেওয়া আছে, মাইক্রোফোনটা অন করে কথা বলবে। I cannot check chat box regularly. Please unmute yourself. So here it is written, first start. We have to start. The next step, this is the step number 1, okay? This is the step number 1 and the next step number 2. Step number 2 is we have to take two numbers as input, say A and B. Achha, who will give the values? Who will assign the values inside a variable? Computer or the users? Just think and answer who will assign the values inside a variable. Is it a task of computer or is it a task of human beings, users? Which one? If you don't know, then say that I don't know. At least say something.
Maybe the computer.
Computer will give the values, right? Acha. Computer can give the values. How?
By
In your childhood, did you read that? Did you study that computer cannot think on its own? In your childhood, class 4, class 5, have you studied that computer cannot think on its own? You have studied, I guess so. Yes. So computer, since computer cannot think on its own, how can computer give inputs? Computer cannot give inputs. We are the human beings who will give input because we are the human beings who can think, who have brains. The brain which computer has, with the help of that brain, computer can process something. Computer can perform some operations, but computer cannot think. Got it?
yes,
So the input which will be given by the users, will given by me because right now I'm the user sitting in front of my laptop. So I'm the user and I'll be giving the input, not computer. What will computer do? Computer will process those inputs and perform the operation. What is the operation? The summation. Summation, multiplication, division, and various kinds of operation. We'll get to know about programming. There will be various kinds of operation. Computer will perform that operation. We are giving instructions to computer to perform those operations. And those instructions are called programs. Program is not that Naj, Khan, Abritri and all. Program is set of instruction here it meant. Okay.
okay.
Next, step number 3. আচ্ছা এখানে একটা স্টেপ মিসিং আছে, মানে এটা আমি গুগল থেকে আই হ্যাভ কপিড, তো এখানে একটা স্টেপ মিসিং আছে। টেক টু ভেরিয়েবলস ফার্স্টে এখানে লিখতে হবে। আমি এখানে লিখে দেখিয়ে দিচ্ছি। টেক টু ভেরিয়েবলস, সে এ অ্যান্ড বি, আফটার দ্যাট এর পরের স্টেপটা হবে যে অ্যাসাইন টু ভ্যালুজ ইনসাইড দ্য ভেরিয়েবলস রেসপেক্টিভলি। Inside the variables respectively. Next step will be ভ্যালুটা অ্যাসাইন করে নিলাম, এবার কি হবে? তুমি দুটো ভ্যালু পেয়ে গেছো, now what will you do with those two values? You will play, you will dance, you will sing, what will you do?
We'll add the two values.
You'll add the two values. এবার আমাকে বলো যে a আর b হচ্ছে দুটো ভেরিয়েবলস and we have stored two values in those variables. Okay, তো ওই দুটো ভ্যালু একটা বাড়ি পেলো থাকবার জন্য, মানে ইমাজিন a and b as a house. তো those two values got shelters for themselves respectively. Then after adding those two values, the sum which we will get, that sum also needs a shelter. That sum cannot just move around here and there. That sum also needs a shelter. Okay.
Okay.
So we have to take another variable where we will assign the sum. Because if we don't assign the sum, if we keep the sum as it is, then we can't print. We have to print. We have to see the output. We have to see the result on our screen. So on our screen. So what we'll have to do? We have to print. For printing, what should we do? We should store the summation value inside a variable. We should assign the value inside the variable. So for that, here, step number 4, I can write taking C as a variable, taking C as a variable for storing the sum. Taking C as a variable for storing the sum. We can take any value like X, Y, Z, nothing. Doesn't matter that it should be A, B, and C. Okay. Taking C as a variable for storing the sum. After that, calculate the sum of A and B and store it in a variable. আচ্ছা, এই সেন্টেন্সটা এটা যেহেতু I said that I've copied it from Google. So here, these two steps are combined and written over here, but we should not write like that. Algorithm means at first I told it's a step-by-step procedure. So we have to show each and every step clearly and ambiguously. So here we should not write like say sum. If we have to declare a variable, we have to take a new step, point it, and then declare the variable, and then write any step. Okay, got it? Here, two steps are combined over there. This step, that step number 4, I've written it just now. But before that, in this step, two steps are combined. See, calculate the sum of A and B. This is a step. And store it in a variable, say sum. So this is another step. Two steps cannot be combined together while writing an algorithm. Got it?
Yes, yes.
Calculate the sum of A and B and store it in a variable. আচ্ছা, store it in a variable, এটাও দরকার নেই. Store it in C. Next step, আচ্ছা, this is step number 5. So next step will be step number 6. 6 এ কি হবে? Now we want the value. What is the sum? We want the value. So we will display the value. Value of C we should write here because we have taken the variable C for storing sum. And the last, we'll write end. Because at the starting of writing, we have written start. So at the ending, we have to write end and end our algorithm. বোঝা গেছে?
Yes, yes.
Now, what is a flowchart? Flowchart পড়িয়েছে স্কুলে? Flowchart জানো? Shubhashree, is flowchart taught?
Representation of a algorithm.
I can't hear you properly. Say loudly. Come in front of the mic.
Flowchart is the pictorial representation of the algorithm.
Okay. Why pictorial representation? You have memorized and said that it's a pictorial representation, but why do you think it's a pictorial representation? Why is it not any video representation? Why is it not any dancing representation, any singing representation? Why? Why pictorial? Because over there, flowchart is made of certain shapes. ঠিক তো? কিছু শেপস দিয়ে আমরা ফ্লোচার্টটা বানাচ্ছি তো ফ্লোচার্ট তো এরকম অ্যালগোরিদমের মতন সিম্পল ইংলিশে we don't have to write. We have to draw some shapes, and inside those shapes we have to write small lines, right? What like what we have to do exactly. That is why it is known as a pictorial representation or visual representation, because we can visualize it, we can see this. Pictorial representation of what? Of an algorithm. Algorithm is a step-by-step process which we are writing in English language. But pictorial is the visual representation of that particular algorithm. So as I said, flowchart uses different symbols to denote different types of actions. Symbols means those shapes, like we use parallelogram and square, rectangle, diamond shape. We use these kinds of shape to represent these, to represent the algorithm. There are some common symbols like oval. Oval, when we use oval, oval is used to represent the start and end of a process. Like in case of algorithm, we have written the start and end, start in the beginning and end at the end of the program. Similarly, in flowchart also, we have to mention the start and end by what? By using the oval shape. We'll draw an oval shape. Inside the shape, we'll write start as well as end at the beginning. Sorry, at the end. Now parallelogram. Parallelogram কি করছে? এটা is used to input and output operations. এই যে step number 2 তে যেটা ছিল যে taking two variables for giving input, for giving user input of two numbers. So in that case, if we draw a flowchart of that, we have to draw parallelogram because parallelogram is used for input and output operations. আমরা যখন input নিচ্ছি বা variable declare করছি, we have to draw parallelogram and write it over there. রেক্টাঙ্গেল আচ্ছা অ্যালগোরিদমে যে প্রসেসটা হলো যে সামেশন অফ টু নাম্বারস রেক্টাঙ্গেলের দ্যাট প্রসেস rectangle will represent that process, represents a process or a calculation step. Diamond is used for decision making steps like true or false, yes or no. ডায়মন্ডের একটা এক্সাম্পল আমি পরে আসছি, জাস্ট আ মিনিট। Acha, firstly, I told that algorithm is not only about programs. Everything as a every work in our lives has a step-by-step procedure. So here you can see this. Take two slices of bread. This is the algorithm. Take two slices of bread. Basically, how to make bread butter or bread jam. Here's the algorithm, step-by-step process of making bread jam. Take two slices, spread butter on one slice, spread jam on another slice, put the two slices together, cut the sandwich in half. এভাবেই তো আমরা ব্রেড বাটার বা ব্রেড জ্যাম বানাই। তো this is the algorithm. Algorithm is not only about in programming, but program শিখতে গেলে we have to know what is algorithm. প্রোগ্রাম শিখতে গেলেই জানতে পারবে অ্যালগোরিদম কাকে বলে। মা যখন ব্রেড বাটার রান্না করা শেখাবে তখন বুঝবে না, তখন মা তোমাকে বলবে না যে অ্যালগোরিদম কাকে বলে, তখন মা ওটাকে কুকিংই বলবে। গ্রেট ডান। আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে। Now comes that decision making part. একটা দেখালাম না ওখানে, ওখানে একটা there was a shape, diamond shape, and there it was written that it is used to represent the decision like yes or no. Suppose you are taking a number and I'm asking you to check whether the number is even or not. তো তুমি এটা এমনি কি করে করবে? What will be the plan? যে you will take a number as user input, then you will see that if it is even number or not. How to check if it is an even number? Even number means divisible by 2 will give you 0. That number is known as even number, right? Even number সবাই এখানে জানো তো, plus 8, all of you.
Yes, miss.
হ্যাঁ, তো even number কি করে চেক করবে? Divisible by 2 should give you 0 as your remainder. So that will be the even number. এবার by dividing by 2, if you don't get 0 as your remainder, then It will not be an even number. সেইখানে ইয়েস আর নো এর কনসেপ্টটা আসছে, যে যদি টু দিয়ে ডিভিজিবল হয় তাহলে ওটা কি ইভেন নাম্বার, যদি টু দিয়ে ডিভিজিবল হয় তাহলে ওটা ইয়েস এর দিকে মুভ করবে, ইয়েস ইট ইজ অ্যান ইভেন নাম্বার। আর যদি ওটা নো, মানে টু দিয়ে ডিভিজিবল না হয়, দেন ইট উইল মুভ টু দ্যাট নো, নো ইট ইজ নট অ্যান ইভেন নাম্বার। তো এখানে ডিসিশন মেকিং এর কনসেপ্টটা আসছে। I'll show an algorithm from internet. Sorry, not algorithm, flow chart I'm going to show. Yes, error. First, this is the oval shape. Oval shape আমরা কি লিখছি? We are writing start because it is the start of the program. Next, input number. Input number we are representing by this parallelogram shape. Parallelogram shape will represent the input number. Means we have to take the number as input. Next, this diamond box. It is used for what? It is used for decision making. Is the number is exactly divisible by 2? Question is asked over here. If yes, it will move to this yes part and it will show that yes, the number is even. It is divisible by 2. And if it is not divisible by 2, then it will move to the no part and the number is odd. It will display. And whatever path it is followed, finally it will go to this stop button. এই যে এই অ্যারো গুলো দেখাচ্ছে না, এই অ্যারো গুলো ইজ দ্য ফ্লো অফ প্রোগ্রাম, হাউ দ্য প্রোগ্রাম ইজ ফ্লোয়িং. Program is flowing from the start, then goes to the input number, then goes to the decision making box. After that, there are two arrows side by side because here it is checking a condition whether the number is even or odd. After that, it's going to the stop button. If the number is odd, then it will print that yes, the number is odd, and then it will go to the stop button. So in this way, we write algorithms and flowcharts. Up to this, any doubt?
No,
See, here is the algorithm written about whether to find whether the number is even or odd. Input a number say n. এই যে এইখানেও লাইনটা কিন্তু সেপারেটলি লিখবে। ফার্স্ট লিখবে যে taking a variable suppose n, the next step will be taking an input and assigning to the variable n. এই দুটো স্টেপ কিন্তু সেপারেট হবে for clear understanding. Then if n modulo 2 equals to 0, আচ্ছা n modulo, do you know the meaning of modulo? Modulus operation, do you know?
no, miss.
What is this operator known as? Division.
Yes, miss.
If I write 5 divided by 2, answer will be 2. So, in computer calculations, while calculating, if I write 5 mod 2, sorry, 5 mod 2, it will be 1. Modulus gives the remainder, whereas division operator gives the quotient. 5 divided by 2 is equal to 2. That 2 is the quotient. And 5 modulus 2 is equals to 1. 1 is the remainder. Modulus always, this is known as the modulus operator. We also sometimes say percentile operator. Okay. 5 modulus 2 is giving us the remainder. So n modulo 2 equals to 0 means n, the number n is divisible, completely divisible by 2 and it's giving the remainder 0. Then if the remainder is 0, then obviously the number is even, and else number is odd. End. Understood?
Yes, miss.
Okay. Do you know how to use our app of this particular coaching? Have you installed that in your device?
Yes, miss.
Okay, just open it and complete the quiz I have already assigned to you. This practice test. Just 10 small questions, 10 small MCQs over there. It will start, it has started, right? Yes, it has started, I think. Just go and check for once and let me know if you get. It has started at 9:27. Have you got?
Miss, I'm not able to find it.
Have you opened that app?
Yes, miss.
After, what is it showing?
It's showing a page written as connect with us, the location, and what our students have to say. Something like
Can you share your screen and show me? In Zoom below, you'll find a share option.
Miss, actually, I'm opening the app in another phone. That's why. I'll
ল্যাপটপ
just
তো
on my
আমিও তো
camera.
ল্যাপটপেই খুলেছি দেখ এই দেখ ল্যাপটপে খোলার পর এখানে এটা দেখাচ্ছে চ্যাট ব্যাচেস টেস্ট পোর্টাল ফ্রি ম্যাটেরিয়াল এই ব্যাচেসে যেতে হবে ক্লাস ক্লাস দিয়ে ওপেন করতে হবে ক্লাস ক্লাস লেখ গুগলে তারপরে এই ইন্টারফেসটা পাবি পেলে বল
Miss, what we have to write on Google?
ক্লাস ক্লাস এই যে ক্লাস 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 ক্লাসে গিয়ে ফার্স্ট ইউ হ্যাভ টু লগ ইন ইউজিং ইউর ইমেল আইডি শুভশ্রী ডিড ইউ গেট
Miss, I have opened it in my mobile.
ও আচ্ছা মোবাইলে কি পেয়েছো সেটা বলো
Yes, miss.
আচ্ছা তাহলে কুইজটা কমপ্লিট করো দেখো তোমাদের ব্যাচ একদম অ্যাসাইন করা আছে ক্লাস 8 কোনটাই পাবলিক স্কুল স্কুলের নাম দিয়ে অ্যাসাইন করা আছে একটু দেখে নাও কুইজটা যদি ওপেন করতে পারো আমাকে একবার ইনফর্ম করো কারণ অনেক সময় ওপেন হয় না মিস বাসকে পেয়েছো
Yes, miss, I'm searching, but I couldn't find the option.
হোয়াটস ইউর ফুল নেম অ্যাঞ্জেলা বাসকে
Yes, miss.
প্লে স্টোরে একটা অ্যাপ পাওয়া যায় টকিং অ্যাঞ্জেলা ইজ ইট ইউ
No, miss.
আচ্ছা খেলেছো কখনো ছোটবেলায় একটা গেমটা
Huh.
ইট ওয়াজ ওয়ান অফ মাই ফেভারিট গেম ইট ওয়াজ নট কারেন্টলি অ্যাঞ্জেলা ডু ওয়ান থিং প্লিজ প্রেজেন্ট ইউর স্ক্রিন নিচে দেখো একটা শেয়ার বাটন আছে ওটাতে ক্লিক করো ল্যাপটপেই পাবে শেয়ার অপশন
Miss, actually, I'm doing that on another mobile. That's why I'll just open my camera.
শুভশ্রী, আর ইউ এবল টু ডু?
Yes, miss.
ঠিক আছে, কমপ্লিট হয়ে গেলে জাস্ট চ্যাট বক্সে ডান লিখে দেবে।
Okay, miss.
Talking Angela, what is the update?
Uh, Miss, it's showing that build your online brand identity with plus plus. We have to enter the number here.
আমার তো এরকমই। আরে, ফোনে করলে ওটাকে ইনস্টল করতে হবে প্লে স্টোর থেকে, আচারিয়া ফাউন্ডেশন অ্যাপ। ফোন থেকে ক্লাস
হ্যাঁ
ক্লাস
অ্যাপ
হলে হবে না, ল্যাপটপ থেকে ক্লাস ক্লাস করতে হবে। হ্যাঁ, এই অ্যাপটা আছে তো, ব্যাস আর কি চাই, এবার ব্যাচেসে যা। ব্যাচেস অপশনে গেছিস? ওই
হ্যাঁ
তো তোর স্কুলের নাম লেখা, ওটা ক্লিক কর।
আচ্ছা।
এবার ওখানে টেস্ট বলে কোথাও কিছু লেখা পাচ্ছিস কিনা দেখ। আমি তো জানি না, আমি অ্যাজ আ স্টুডেন্ট তো লগ ইন করি না, যে স্টুডেন্টের ইন্টারফেসটা কেমন হবে আর অন্য।
Yes, Miss, I got one.
ক্লিক অন দ্যাট, স্টার্ট। জাস্ট 10টা এমসিকিউ আক্কার বাক্কার বাম্বে বো করে লাগিয়ে দে, যেটা লাগবে লাগবে।
Okay.